I'm Danby Bloch, and I'm chairman of city-based IFAs Helm Godfrey, and I'm also a consultant to the platform. And I have with me today Annalise Toberman from the platform, who's a lead analyst on a variety of different topics. Annalise, you've been conducting a lot of research into a whole range of different areas, European and UK distribution.
That's
what have you been
correct.
focusing on in UK distribution?
So we have an ongoing research project that looks at the influences in fund selection and distribution. So we speak to the advisor community, we speak to the discretionary fund managers, the heads of multi-manager teams, and also those putting together the select list for direct-to-consumer platforms. All those we consider to be influencers in fund selection to understand how funds are being picked in the UK today.
One of the interesting things I've seen in the way funds are being picked and investments are being planned for clients is the development of centralised processes by firms for investment planning. How have you seen that playing out?
So this is something we've actually been tracking over a period of time, ever since the RDR came into force. And about a year ago, 3 out of 5 advisors would tell us they have some kind of centralised process in-house for how they arrange their investment proposition. Today, that's more like 4/5.
And in what way are they centralising their investment proposition and their processes?
It really depends on whether they're still doing the fund selection in-house or whether they're primarily outsourcing. But typically there would be an investment committee who would make these kinds of decisions. There would be some kind of governance process in place and a way of them to carry out any centralised due diligence as well on any outsourced providers that they're using. That could be asset allocation tool providers, risk profiling tool providers. It could be a discretionary fund management firm they're using for their model portfolios, for example.
And what do you think about these processes, and what do other commentators think? Do they really stand up to scrutiny, or are we in the early stages of development?
That's a difficult question, and one that the FCA is looking very closely at. They have a thematic review coming out, I believe, early next year or towards the end of the year on due diligence in financial advice, because there is perhaps inconsistency in how firms are carrying out their due diligence work. Larger firms tend to have more resource dedicated towards this. They might have people dedicated to checking out any outsourced providers. They could be SIP providers or, again, the DFMs, to see that they're up to muster for what they're looking for their clients. Smaller advisory firms might be doing this on a more ad hoc basis. And there's also quite a lot of nervousness around the risk profiling tools being used. These are becoming increasingly ubiquitous with doing asset allocation and then fund selection within advisor businesses. Different tools are based on different premises, and the FCA has already come out in the past few years and said it's not particularly happy with some of these tools and how they work.
The mapping, I guess, of the risk profiling of the tools and then the funds themselves or the portfolios is a problematic area.
Right, so you have this sort of piecemeal approach of advisors buying in some kind of risk profiling tool to come up with a risk profile for a client. They might be a risk 5 and you're matching them with a risk 5 fund that might have been designed as a risk profile 5 on a different basis entirely.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a flawed system.
Yes, your 5 is my 6 and my 5 is your 4.
Exactly.
It's quite complicated. So you think generally, though, that advisors are getting more professional?
I definitely say so. There's still some distance to go. As I said, the FCA will probably have some strong words on what some businesses are doing. And we've also got MiFID II implementation to come as well, which will probably deal a blow to some advisory firms.
So it's a very fast-moving area, and one where people who are in the provider business or the platform business or the advisory business need to keep pretty strong line on what's going on and the new developments that are taking place.